Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of class, and we're going to be finishing up Python. In particular, we're going to be going through everything from 2.6 down to 2.10. So conditional statements, lists and looping, and then talking about how to define functions. You also are going to have your first assignments officially due starting this week, and those will be posted in an announcement to remind you. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. So when it comes to if statements, the first thing you need to know about how Python works is blocks of code and colons. Now, if you've been programming with other languages, you'll know that indentation and things like that may not matter if you're using Java. In Python, they matter a lot. So let's jump down here and look at this expression. Okay, so just a word about how Python Tutor works again. The red arrow is the line that's about to be executed. So when I click next, it's going to execute this line print and then this string. So it's going to print this out in the dialog box, and then I'm going to define a variable to be age. Notice it didn't put it in this dialog box, so this is not something that was printed. Age is just a variable that was stored. Now, Python Tutor again, the red arrow tells you what's about to be executed. The green arrow tells you what was just executed. And notice that they're right next to each other, but that won't always be the case. Okay. Now let's run this next one. I'm going to define an if statement. So when I click next, it looks like nothing happened. Okay. So let's think about why. The statement says if age is greater than or equal to 21, and then I have a colon. Whenever you whenever you use an if statement, you write the word if, and then you have a condition that has to be checked, true or false. Okay? Then you always have to put a colon. If the colon isn't put, you'll get an error. After you put the colon, then we start a block. That means this has to be indented over. Usually it's with a tab or with a set number of spaces, but anytime you have an if statement and then your colon, the next line has to be indented over, and this is part of the if statement. This is what happens if this statement tests to be true. Now, since age was 5, this statement tested false, and so Python skipped over lines 4 and lines 5. That's why the next one to be executed is line 6, because these were skipped over because this tested false. Right? So I'm going to print Coke, I'm going to print water, and now I have another if statement. If age is less than or equal to 8, print milk, print juice. Okay? Now, since age is saved as 5, this will test out to be true. So when I click next, it's going to jump down here because it's tested true, so go to this next line, and then it'll print milk, and then it will print juice. So that's how if statements work. You write if, and then you have a condition that's checked. If it checks out to be true, then it runs the lines that are indented, that are blocked. If it tests to be false, then it just skips over them. Okay, and that's how if statements work. I want to, do one more example in Python Tutor. And this example is in the handout. Let me just pull this over so you can see it. It's in these notes. I'm working through some examples from these notes, but you should always go through these on your own and work them out in Python Tutor, since we're doing Python or whatever, wherever we are. But let's just go ahead and just look at another one. I'm going to go into live programming mode. Excuse me. And whenever you're doing this, always make sure you have Python 3.6 chosen, not Python 2.7, not JavaScript certainly. Because things are slightly different, especially with respect to print between 2 and 3. So make sure you're always in 3. So I'm going to type if, first of all, let me see. I'm going to let W be equal to, I'm going to start out at 49. And I'm going to say if W is greater than 50. Now I have to put my colon, and I press enter. Notice that it automatically indents what I'm typing. And Python Tutor will always do that, and most IDEs you use will automatically indent as well. So I'm going to say if W is greater than 50, then I'm going to print this string. There is a $25 charge for luggage that heavy. I'm going to close my string. and then I'm going to go out of my indentations, so no more blocking, and I'm going to print thanks for your business. All right. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to go step by step. W is defined, 49. And now this is going to, now when I click next again, it's going to check this if W is greater than 50. This is going to test out to be false because W is not greater than 50. So it's going to skip telling them about the surcharge and go down to this line, and it'll print out, thank you for your business. Now, if I go back in and I change W to say 51 and start over, W is saved. Now when I click next, this tested to be true, so it went down to line 3. Now it's going to say there's a $25 surcharge, $25 charge, and then it'll say thank you for your business. Okay, so that's basically how if statements work. Now let's go into something more complicated. What if you don't just want to do an if statement? What if you want to check one condition, and if it fails, you want to check a second condition? Well, that's when we get to if-else statements. So let's go through this one. I'm going to define the variable P1 to be 354, the variable P2 to be 387, and now I have a condition. If P1 is greater than P2, there's my colon, there's my next line, which is indented. I'm going to print something. Okay. Now notice in this case, P1 is not greater than P2, so this will test out false. So it's going to skip this line and go down to line 5. And I'm going to say else, that is, if this condition fails, go down, and then else is going to do this next thing. Notice how else works. I type the word else, I have the colon, and again, anytime you see a colon in Python, you have to indent out the next line. So it's going to print player 2 wins. And that's how that works. So if else, the way they work is, if the expression following the if command is true, the first block executes. Otherwise, the second block executes. So you'll never have both of them running. If the if part tests true, it prints out what's under if. If it doesn't test out true, it's going to run what's under else. It doesn't necessarily have to be a print statement. It can be something else. Okay, let's do another example over here. Let's do. And I do want to show you in those notes again over here. This is the general syntax for an if-else statement. Up here is the general syntax for an if statement. So again, please be sure you're reading through these notes because there's lots of little helpful nuggets in there like that. So let's do another example. Let's say, let's see, I'm going to let t be 79, and I'm going to say if t is greater than 80, I'm going to print wear shorts, else I'm going to print wear long pants. Oops, I want to make that a string. Wear long pants. And then at the end, I'm going to print, no matter what the temperature is, get some exercise. That is literally always good advice. So I'm going to jump back to the beginning again. So temperature T is defined, saved as 79 first of all. And then if T is greater than 80, execute this line. Well, T is not greater than 80, so it's going to skip it, and it's going to go down and run the else, and then run this line. Or go down to this line, and then execute it next, line 5. Wear long pants, and then it's going to print, get some exercise. Let me change this to something greater than 80. Actually, let me change it to exactly 80, okay? So when it's exactly 80, T is not going to be greater than 80, so it's not going to run this line. It's going to do the same thing it did before. But if I choose something greater than 80, now, T is 81, this will test out to be true, so it'll jump down to line 3, and then it will print out wear shorts. Notice that since this part was executed, it skips what's in else, and it goes down to print wear long pants, or excuse me, print get some exercise. And that is the gist of if-else constructions. Next, moving on, I want to talk about I want to talk about, let me see. I want to talk about elifs. So this is what you can use if you have several different conditions that you want to be checked. Okay? So let's just jump into this example. So I'm going to start out with temp defined to be 83. If temp is greater than 90, I'm going to execute print too hot. Well, temperature is not greater than 90, so it's going to skip this and jump down to the next line. So this is a elif. This is a combination of else and if. Remember when you do if-else, if the if condition tests false, it automatically jumps down to the else. Well, when you use an elif construction, you can test out several different conditions. So in this case, I'm saying elif, the temp is greater than 80, print a little bit too warm. Well, the temp is 83, that is greater than 80, so it's going to want to execute this next line, so it's going to say a little bit too warm. And now look, I have jumped totally out of this if-elif-else construction. When one of them tests true and that line is executed, then we're done. We're done with it. So I'm going to go into, what I did was I clicked Edit in Python Tutor so that I can do some more with this. I'm going to click Live Programming Mode. And let's play around with this. Let's change temp to be 91. Okay. So temp is saved as 91. And now since this tested true, it's going to execute line 3, and then it's going to jump out. And I'm going to add a line down here to let us see that it's going to print this out when we're out of the if-elif-else construction. Okay. So starting over, temp is 91. That tested greater than 90, so it's going to print too hot. And now it jumped out of all that, and it's going to print we're done. Let's change this to 75. So this one is going to test false, so it's going to skip line 3. This will test false, so it's going to skip line 5. Now this one is going to test true. So it's going to go down to 7 and execute just right. And then since one of them tested true, it jumped out of the construction. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, but I encourage you to play around with it and do things like 65, something below 60, and just see what happens. Okay. Now we are going to look at while constructions. In the while statement, Python executes a block over and over and over as long as some condition is true. As soon as that condition tests false, the block stops. That's said right here. The block repeats until the Boolean expression is false. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, so I'm going to let num be 5 as long as num is greater than 0. And here's my block. Okay, num plus equals -2. And down here, this little note, the plus equal operator increases the variable. So when I put plus equals -2, it's going to add -2 to the num variable, okay? To the num variable, which starts out as 5. And I want to print num every time. So let's just go through this one. Starting out, num is saved as 5, and then while, and it'll test this condition. So while num is greater than 0, well, num is greater than 0, so both of these blocks are going to be ran. So first of all, I'm going to add -1 to num. So watch this variable right here. That's going to change 3, and then I'm going to print out whatever it is, and it prints 3. Now, look, the red arrow jumped back up to 2. So now it's going to test this condition again. Well, num is still greater than 0, so I'll go down to line 3. I'm going to add -2, and that changed to 1. I'm going to print out 1, or print out num, which is 1. Now I'll go back to test it again. Num is still greater than 0, so I'm going to add -2 to it. Now notice that now num is -1, but I'm still in this while loop. So this print num is still going to happen, -1. Now I jump back up and test it again, and now since num is -1, this will test false, and we're finished. Okay, if you noticed a hiccup in the audio or the video, I had to go get some coffee. So I want to do one more example with a while statement in Python Tutor. So let's get one in live programming mode. So now I'm going to be fancier with my variable and just write the word temperature. And I'm going to let it be 115. And I'm going to say while the temperature is greater than 112, as always, after a while I have my Boolean, I have my statement that's tested to be true or false, then I have my colon, and then I indent my statement block. I'm going to print out the temperature variable, and then I'm going to print a string, too hot, add an ice cube, and then I'm going to let the temperature be equal to the temperature minus 1. Now, writing out and having your variable change by defining your variable and subtracting or adding to it, that's another way that you can change your variables within a while statement. The other way was that other example that I just showed you with the plus equals. You can look this up, and I encourage you to, but you can look up other ways to do this with plus equals, minus equals, times equals, all those different constructions. But this is another way to do it. And then I'm going to print the T is cool enough. So let me go back to the beginning. So starting out, temp is 115, too hot for me to drink. So now it's going to check while the temperature is greater than 112. So this will test to be true. It's going to print this, so it'll print 115, too hot, add an ice cube. So now the temperature will go down by 1 degree. Watch what happens to the temperature variable when I click next. It goes down to 114. Now I jump back up and I run this test again. Is temperature greater than 112? Yes, it is. It's too hot again, add an ice cube. Temp goes down again. Now it's 113, add an ice cube. Still too hot. Add an ice cube. Oh, sorry. Let me step back a little bit because I lied to you. Okay, while temperature is greater than 112, well, now it's equal to 112. So this will test false. So it's going to skip all of this and go down to the T is cool enough. And now it'll run that line. So that's while loops. All right, again, in the notes on D2L, here we have the general syntax for a while statement right here. And we have all these practice problems that I encourage you to try out.